Welcome back to another episode of the Elevated Chat Room. Elevate your mind, elevate your life. It's your host, Lonzo Jones. We back at it. I got a special guest with us on tonight, Mr. Jeremy Casey. And I like to call him Pastor G. And he's the campus pastor in Ecclesia over in Sheffield.
That's correct.
Now, let me introduce the topic before I let him kind of come in and do his thing. The topic for tonight is helping without enabling. All right, Pastor G, kind of tell them more about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody do call me Pastor G, but after all of what I do, man, I'm just a servant. I love people, love serving people, and I hope everything that I do is catered around serving people, helping them to be better than what they are, the better version of themselves. So I'm just a servant at heart. That's
what's up, bro. You got to be a servant at heart with all the titles you wear.
Yeah, I do a lot. People ask me that question. I be like, depends on what day it is. From being in ministry, working full-time at my church, our daycare. I actually work as an HR.
Okay. Okay.
Over our food program. I'm a program coordinator for a program called Family Matters. That's in Decatur Youth Services.
Okay.
Alcohol and drug counselor. Do a lot of stuff. Ultimately, I just like serving people, serving families.
So how did you get into I know you serve through your church and everything, but how did you get into the Family Matters and the just serving the community outside of the church? How'd you get involved in that?
Gotcha. Dr. Kobe S. Fitzgerald, who's my pastor, also my spiritual father. He basically kind of led an example of getting into mental health counseling. And he started working with a company in Decatur doing alcohol and drug counseling. He got me involved in it. And that was in 2019. So from there, I just kind of got on that journey, got my certification in alcohol and drug counseling, and that kind of led to what I do in Decatur as the program coordinator in Family Matters, parenting, work with juvenile probation, things of that nature. So it just kind of started with alcohol and drug counseling, then it just opened my eyes to the need that parents have and juveniles have, not just in drug counseling, but life skills and just life in general.
Okay. So how long did it take you to get these certificates?
Actually, it didn't take me too long. I got it in 2020, I believe. So I started on it in 2019 and got certified in 2020.
Okay,
certified ever since.
So is that like a 6-month program, 8-month program?
So it depends on how hard you work, right?
Okay.
So typically, many people have different paths. Now, you can go to a four-year college, which I do have a bachelor's in psychology, but you can go through bachelor's and master's in psychology or in mental health counseling and get those licensures. Yeah. I took an unconventional route. Bless you. I took an unconventional route and got a certification. So basically, I had to do some training, had to get some supervision, and ultimately had to take an exam to get certified.
Okay. Before we go on to the first question that's listed, is all addictions a disease or just certain ones?
Oh, addiction itself is a disease.
Wow.
It is a disorder.
Okay.
There's a chemical imbalance in the brain. There are several things that go on in the brain, so we have to approach it from that perspective. You know, it's not the fact that somebody just got hooked on a drug and they can stop at any time. No, there's some chemical imbalance. Some things have rewired in their brain, so you have to approach it from that perspective.
So what about the people that quit cold turkey then?
Now they can. You know, that's.
But everybody can't do that.
Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't quit cold turkey. There's some reasonings behind that that their why is that powerful.
Their what?
Their why. That WHY is that powerful.
That's good.
Something has enlightened in them that they understood. Okay, I got an issue, but I see the consequences, so I got to make a drastic change. It don't happen that same way with everybody.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I believe God can perform a miracle.
You're right.
But what you got to understand about drug addiction anyway, you're in recovery. You probably talk to people who have heard somebody say they're in recovery for 20 years. That means you still got the capacity to go back and relapse.
Right.
So you got to be on your game all the time. You know, so
that's good though.
Some people can quit cold turkey. A lot of people can't.
I know my grandfather told me that when he met my grandmother, he was smoking and drinking and stuff, and she was like, well, basically, if you're going to marry me, you got to stop. He said, I went cold turkey. Just like that.
That why was powerful.
Yeah, it was, right?
You see?
Yeah.
That why was that powerful that he had to make some choices, and that why meant more than what he was feeling at the time or what he was getting from that drug.
And see, and I've heard guys when they talk about pornography. You know, how some still struggle, but how some went cold turkey, and they will tell you, now that you're saying it, like, they're why. Like, he was like, well, because I was about to do this, that, and that, or I didn't want this, that, and that to happen, or I saw this, that, and that happen, and he was like, well, I just decided to stop.
Yeah.
Like, I literally made a decision, and I stopped, and I prayed to God, not that the itch necessarily went all the way away.
Correct.
But I made decisions, and I put myself in the best positions to where I wouldn't be as tempted by that. You know, so it's more than just saying, hey, yeah, I'm going cold turkey.
Absolutely.
You know, you got to cut some people off. You got to stop doing some things and stuff like that. So, but that is good though. What you were saying about how some can and some can't.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
But you said it perfectly there though, because you know it's not they don't have the capacity to get back into it.
Yeah,
they just made a decision, right, and then they did something about it. They staffed their weaknesses. So if I knew Joe Blow and them, I did most of that with Joe Blow and them, then I might need to cut. I got to be intentional about that. Yes. If my why is that powerful, then that why is going to motivate me and help me make the necessary changements or adjustments in my life.
So one of the things we always ask is, I'm talking to the crowd now, what is your why? What is your why? Remember that. All right, let's go on to this first question, bro.
Sure.
It says, in parenting, how do you help your child without enabling bad habits?
Gotcha. Well, as another one of the certifications I do have is a certified family life educator.
Okay. So
one of the things that I've done in the past is teach parenting classes. So before we can actually get into the child, you got to focus on the parenting. As parents, I know most parents want to help their children, and sometimes it becomes enablement, but we need to look at the parenting first. Sometimes I don't know about you, but I grew up in the hood. I grew up in poverty.
Gotcha.
I grew up in the west side of Florence Mobile Street.
Yeah.
Single parent home. I was the youngest of four. Food stamps, the whole nine. So we didn't have a whole lot. But when I become a parent, I knew I wanted to offer my kids something that I didn't get coming up as a kid. So sometimes we overcompensate.
Okay.
So a lot of things that our kids express or some of their behavior comes directly from us. That's the first thing we got to do. We got to take a self-evaluation of our parenting before we can get to helping them curb some bad habits. Because if the truth be told, a lot of their bad habits come from us.
I can agree.
I can agree. Come from us. So I think that's the first thing. If parents want to prevent enabling them in bad habits, we need to first figure out, are we the cause or the contribution to their bad habits? I'm going to take a plug right here. I'm dropping a book in September called Adult Contributing.
Okay.
That really highlights the impact that adults make on kids in all sorts of ways, intentional or unintentional.
That's good.
Relational or unrelated, meaning that I don't have to be a direct relative of somebody to be impactful or influence, have a contribution to their success.
Yeah.
So that's if we want to help them, prevent them from making bad habits or enabling their bad habits, we need to first take a self-reflection of how we parent them.
I can agree with that, because I have sat back and watched some parents parent their kids in a not so favorable way. And they think they're doing a great job because they're, helping them, bailing them out, and always there for them and just giving them everything they need. They'll never really understand, they'll never really get to feel the consequences of anything in life. Then it seems like the older they get, the more and more and more they're prone to making worse and worse and even worser decisions. So I've seen it, and then I've seen people that look at me and be like, man, you a little too tough on your boys. And I was like, well, I know what I don't want them to end up being, So, but I had to find that balance.
There you go.
They get way more grace than what I did growing up. The stuff that they do, I would have been skint, 10 times over.
For sure.
So, but I have seen, and you can sit back right now and you can watch a kid being raised, and you're like, if they don't change that, they're setting this kid up for failure. Don't know how that failure is going to look, but he's bound to make some bad decisions in his future. Based off of how things are going right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You said the operative word, balance. Now, if I had a scale here, and I put coins on this one, nothing on this one, then this one don't have to work hard. The one on the right don't have to work hard. It's the one with all the stuff on it. It's gonna fall down.
Yeah.
It don't take much because there's only one thing that's got applied pressure. But if you balance that thing off, that really takes the most work now because both scales are working. But if you learn to just observe and sit back, it let the pressure work against each other. That's why you get balance.
Gotcha.
So most people don't want to work hard. Most parents want things, they want the quick fix.
Yeah.
Hey, if I can just, kid crying, what do? Put a pacifier in the mouth, right? I never forget, I got 3 daughters, throw that out there. So I never forget my my oldest daughter is 18, my middle daughter is 16, and my youngest is 12. So when my first one got here, I was like, oh Lord, what have I gotten myself into? Got the second one, I was like, okay, this one is bad. You know what I said when I got my third one? I know what to do. Oh, did I find out how wrong I was? Because I thought I knew after having 2. I knew it all.
Yeah.
But one thing I learned when they were babies, when they cried, I had to give them a pacifier. But I wanted to change. I didn't want them to be 3, 4, and 5 years old with a pacifier. So what did I have to do? I had to take the pacifier.
Had to wean them off.
Had to wean them off. But guess what? That was not easy because there were some days she cried and cried and cried and cried. And I had to deal with that, right? So it takes work trying to change behavior. It also takes work to be intentional at your parenting to prevent some of those bad habits.
Yeah.
It's active supervision. I got to be around. I got to be present. I can't always do what I want to do.
Right.
I've got to focus on certain behaviors of my kids.
That's true. I mean, like that's a quote I always say, if you bail them out, you'll always be bailing them out.
Yes, that's a fact.
So, I mean, it's like you got to sit back sometimes and let them feel it.
And it hurts.
Because if they don't feel it, they don't really learn from it. Like, some of the best lessons we learned in life, especially as adults, is when you have to sit in the mistake, sit in that thing and feel it. And then you feel how everybody else feels. You see how it affected everybody else. Yeah. So you know what? It's like, man, I've learned from this. I would never do this again. And I would make sure that I give my kids the heads up in life when it comes to this type of situation. Oh, sure. But we'll sit back, man, because we want our kids to have it made. We want them to be this and be that, but you're really not helping them.
Yeah.
And it's different for men because, we see things differently. We see the bigger picture for the most part.
Right.
And it's like, no, I'm not raising you for now.
Just for that, yes, sir.
I'm raising you for what I see in your future.
Yeah.
So when I'm getting on to my boys now or instructing them or changing or disciplining them now, it's not necessarily for now. It's for your future behavior.
Absolutely.
So
one thing I say is I'm responsible for my kids and I'm responsible for who they become. I'm responsible for that. Yes. So I'm not doing them any favors by giving them now I'm daddy now. Dad, and I got girls.
I already know.
So you know what I'm saying?
That's that balance.
I gotta have a balance. Yes. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, but I also build expectations and accountability at the same time. Yeah. And I always tell them, I said, not to be doom and gloom, but dad ain't gonna be here forever. But I need daddy's words and thoughts to be here forever. Yeah. That resonates in you.
Yeah. My homeboy, he messaged me a few years back. He was like, man, how do you discipline your kids? He was like, man, I'm trying to discipline my son about this and that, and I don't really see anything that's working. I said, what does he love the most? He was like, football. I said, well, you take it from him. He said, what? I said, you ask him for what you should do from my perspective, having kids that also love sports.
Right.
I said, when my boys get out of line, they already know when they hit that point. I said, the next time you get in trouble, I'm taking sports from him. You're going to sit the bench. You're going to watch your team play. And my youngest boy tried me, and he had to sit out that first half in flag football, watching him on the sideline just boo-hoo crying. He dressed out. The parents were like, are you? Because he's one of the best players on the team. So they was like, what? Are you serious? I was like, oh, I'm serious. They was like, we're going to lose. I was like, it'll be all right. I didn't have issues like that again with him. See? But you have to hit them where it hurts.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
But you're not necessarily like punishing them. You're disciplining them and you're teaching them.
Correct.
In the midst of how you're going about doing it.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
It's correction. I teach a parenting principle called T-Spot. It's called take away everything at one time, basically. Take away everything at one time. So basically, when you give them a T-Spot, they ain't got access to sports, cell phone, TV, nothing.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about it. If they take the cell phone, most people now, they ain't got just a cell phone. They got a TV in their room. They ain't just got the TV. They got the 360 or the Xbox or the PlayStation in the room. So they ain't tripping if you take the phone. Well, they tripping now if they take the phone.
Yeah.
But you take the TV, they got something else to play with. So you take everything away, that causes them to think, okay, I don't like how I feel without my stuff. You got to figure out, what does my kid like? That's the list that you work with.
Come on, bro.
They ain't tripping if you take away something they don't like. They don't care about that.
My kids, they love sweets.
There you go.
They don't want to drink water. They love their iPads and sports. So this was okay.
Take away.
All right, we get home, since you acting up, keep messing with your brother. No PlayStation, no iPad, and you on water.
There you go.
Like what?
I had a parent. I had a kid. I was working at Morgan County System of Services, and one of the parents of one of my students was in my parenting class. So the kid come up to me one day. She was like, "Why you tell my mama to feed me rice and water?" I said, "Well, I ain't tell her to. I just simply said, because we give everything to our kids." And then I try to teach this too. There's a difference between privileges and rights. See, kids nowadays think it's a right that they eat McDonald's, a right that they get Zaxby's, a right that they get Chick-fil-A. No, the right is that I feed you.
Come on.
It ain't got to be that. It can be white rice, no sugar, no salt, pepper, no butter, white rice and water. Okay, what I'm going to go tell? Who you going to tell? I fed you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I think it's that, and I think that helps too with curbing those enablement, because we cannot allow our kids to stay on a path of destruction. If I know you running out in traffic, if I don't do something drastic to stop you, and you think you can do it, it's gonna be that one time that's gonna get you really hurt.
Yeah.
So correction may not feel good, but again, it may not feel good now, but you'll appreciate it in the future.
Yes, sir. I like that. I can tell my man, he know what he's talking about over here. All right, bro, let's go on to the next question. It says, what are signs you might be enabling a loved one struggling with addiction?
Oh, man. I'm going to say this is frustration. When you get really frustrated with somebody, but yet you still enabling them and you're going broke and your life is ultimately changing, then you have enabled somebody. It's when your resources are now depleted, but you see no progression in their behavior, then that's a sign that you're enabling someone with addiction. You got to make a stop at some point, because, I'm a compassionate person. Man, you can play with my heartstrings real quick. I see somebody, I'm going to give them $20. You know what I'm saying? They're asking for some change. I'm going to give it. But at the same time, you have to think about, is this really helping them? And you have to be compassionate. You have to have empathy, but are you actually helping their whole being? One thing I love about Jesus is this. He wanted people not only to be healed, but he wanted them to be whole. He wanted them to be good, but he didn't want them to continue in sin. You get what I'm saying? So he was worried about the whole being, not just one side of the being. So a lot of families deal with people in their family that are addicted to drugs, and they want to help them so bad out of love. But love is not one-sided. Can't be.
So say it again.
Love is not one-sided. I can see people want the love that's compassionate, but there's also a side of love that's accountability. You get me? So I can be you good when I'm compassionate and giving to you, but you don't think I love you when I'm trying to correct you.
That's good.
You see? So addiction says, I want what I want because I got this issue. But love says, I understand you got this issue. I can help you this much, but I also want to help you on this side. So I might need to take you to a rehab and drop you off and close the door behind you and drive off and leave you there and not pick back up when you call and not come get you because you tired or they made you mad. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's still love, because how can I love you enabling you to continue the same hamster wheel?
I got you. So what about, you was talking about taking them to rehab. What is it true that they actually have to want to go to rehab to change, or you force them to go and they'll change?
You can't force somebody to change if they don't want to change.
There you go.
Right? One of the first things about addiction is you have to want to change. You have to want a desire to do different. Now, there's the pre-contemplation, there's a contemplation, there's the ready to change, right? Sometimes people stay at the pre-contemplation part where they feel like they have the need to want to change, but they really ain't invested in changing. It's only when you really arrive to the readiness to change where things start taking root and you start making different decisions and ultimately to become in recovery.
Okay. Man, you know your stuff, bro. So how can ministry leaders balance compassion with accountability? It's kind of something you just hit on. But how you balance that?
You know, it's again, I want to see people their best version, right? I believe, especially going back to parents as well, I believe that if I can get a parent to become their best version, they can become their best version for their kids. So when it comes to compassion and in ministry, I'm good with people being better, helping them to become better, but I also want to give them the tools to stay better and even grow from their point. For example, if I have somebody that's hungry, most people thrive or love the fact that I can give them a food box. But what's next? What you gonna see next week?
Same person.
Same person. Oh, I'm giving them a food box, but is that enough? This is what I love. Jesus was at the well, and the woman comes up and Jesus asked the woman, "Hey, give me a drink of water." Now he knew what the woman was there for, right? Then this woman had 5 husbands, and the one she was with was not her husband, right? So Jesus looked at her and said, you know, I know we're talking about natural water, but you need something different. So he wasn't just concerned about her present issue. He was worried about her future. And I think that's the part. I can't just always give you something temporary. I need to balance my compassion with accountability. Now, I tell folk this, I'm going to help you today, but I'm going to give you a different kind of help tomorrow. I need to show you how to not be in the same position again next time.
I like that.
You see?
Yeah.
And it takes effort. You know, when he says, you know, this is what compassion means. I compass my own needs to meet yours, right? But accountability says, I'm going to give an account of everything I do for you, and you're going to have to give me some in return. And I ain't saying that you give me money back, but I'm saying you're going to have to see me I got to see some change.
Yeah.
Because if not, I'm making a bad investment.
Come on. That's good stuff.
I don't like making bad investments.
Yeah. I'm wasting time, energy.
I'm wasting time. Because I can only do so much, right? You
Right.
have to want to change. And unfortunately, the world may not like it. The world may have a bad narrative to say about me not giving a food box this month. I'm just using that as an example. But I'm trying to reach something different than that. I want to be able to and be impactful enough for them that they change, that the next time they're giving the food box.
And that's key, man, because like if you truly just sit there and just give them handout, they're gonna show up week after week after week. And it's like, and as they're showing up week after week is also making them weaker.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, well, so what do you do to help them become more accountable and to help them actually want to change their situation?
Absolutely.
Like, what would you do?
For me, first of all, I let them know, hey, I ain't God. You want me to do something you got to trust God to do.
Okay.
Right? It's only so much I can do. So for me, because I'm big on discipleship, right? I'm big on showing people a path. And I lay those things out. So one of the illustrations I do, especially with my parents, anybody else, I write on a big whiteboard and I do boxes with goals and how to get there. So if it's somebody who's at that point that they're really wanting to change, I don't mind walking with them through the change.
Okay.
It's different than me giving them handouts. Now I'm invested that we're going to walk this journey because I know it's a journey. Meaning, I don't want you to say this. I get this a lot. You got kids who don't, or people that don't have a car. Don't have a job, don't have any type of education. Okay, what do you need right now? So I walk down through there. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about baby steps, because even baby steps is progress. So if they don't see what they need, it's my job to help them identify what they need and what they can do to get there. That's what true discipleship is. I don't expect you to go and be sufficient on your own right now.
Right.
But I can show you the first step you can take. And when you take that first step, then I can show you the second step you can take. Now, this is where things get shaky because they see how much effort and how much time it takes to do that. But what is your alternative? Do you want to be begging for stuff all forever, relying or depending on somebody, or do you want to be able to fish for yourself?
Yeah, and it's funny. I don't know why weight loss came to my mind when you was talking about how they expect it to be easy, and then when they look up and after they're taking those first couple of steps, and it's like, hey, I only lost 20 pounds. I got so much more to go.
What?
And it's either at that moment, you're either going to decide to push through or you're going to fall back. And most people fall back.
I'm telling you, I'm a living witness, man. The days I take or the times I take spurts off from working out,
Yeah.
I already know that this next workout is going to cause some soreness.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can get through the soreness, then I'll be okay. Most
Yeah.
people don't like that soreness.
Yeah.
Because you're changing things. You're doing things you're not used to doing.
Yeah.
But I need people to understand it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be in a little pain.
Yeah.
Betty Wright was right. No pain, no gain.
gain.
You know, she was right. So if we can help people along, but long as you use the analogy of working out. But I'm the spot. I'm the workout partner.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not in this by yourself.
Sure.
And that's the huge thing there is I don't want anything from anybody. I'm here to support and help you. I'm your part. I'm your spot. And that's what people need to understand. You're not designed to go through life by yourself. You need that accountability part that's going to help you along the way.
Yeah. I know that no matter how long I've worked out, if I increase either reps or weight, or if I do a new workout or find me a new exercise, I get sore again. But that soreness lets me know that I'm gaining.
Mm-hmm.
As they say, in weightlifting, they say you got them gains. What
Yep.
your gains look like.
Yep.
So I'm gaining in life when I continue to push through the soreness.
Absolutely.
But most people don't understand that soreness is good for you. If you ain't sore lifting weights, you ain't doing nothing.
Right. You
You
ain't
waste
doing,
your time.
You ain't doing.
You should stay at home.
You should have stayed at home.
So in life, when it's time for you to take that next step, you got to realize there's going to be some soreness with it.
Yeah,
But you got to recognize, man, this soreness is the blessing. On the other side of the soreness is results.
absolutely.
It's those gains. It's everything that I really want. But most of the time, people just sit back and like, you know what? I don't feel like getting up.
Yeah.
I don't feel like putting the effort. And then you look up and you are either worse off. Well, you are worse off because you don't just stay still. You either
Right.
growing or decaying.
Right.
One of the two,
Right. So accountability is huge, man. You gotta have somebody. You gotta reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
You can't do this by yourself, man. If your why is not strong enough, you need somebody always telling you, hey, this is what you're doing this for.
Mm.
When you look in the mirror, you want that beach body, you want that summer body. This is what you want. This is your why.
Yeah.
Is that why greater than what your laziness?
Mm.
Is that why greater enough than your procrastination? Is that why greater than your addiction?
Yeah.
Is that why beneficial for you?
Man, that's good stuff, bro. That's good, man.
You might need to change your why.
Pastor G said you might need to change your why.
You might need to.
And that's good you say that because we was just doing a school assembly and I told them that at one point of life, part of life, this may be your why.
Mhm.
You're young, in college,
Yeah.
athletic, you're trying to make the team. That may be a part of your why. Then after you get married and you have kids and you build a strong relationship with your kids, they may become your why.
Right.
So your why can change.
Absolutely.
But you have to make sure, no matter what, that why is strong enough to keep you in the fight of life.
Absolutely.
So that's good stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, it says, what role do boundaries play in helping families heal? Boundaries.
I think that's something that needs to be taught more about how to establish healthy boundaries in any context, whether it's family, whether it's in ministry, whether it's just in life and period. But the thing about that as well is having the confidence to share your boundaries. Now, that also comes with a level of vulnerability. Not everybody want to talk about what causes them pain or triggers them. It's like open up a wound if I tell you, hey, I don't like when people are in my personal space, because then I might have to tell you why. Or it may leave you speculation. But boundaries are necessary, especially when you're talking about healing. If you're talking about healing, then trauma had to be present.
Yes.
So again, it leads to that vulnerability. But boundaries are totally, man, they got to be talked about. Me and my kids talk a lot. We talk about boundaries. You got to communicate. If I don't feel comfortable, I can't just be silent because I'm gonna feel some type of way every time you impede my boundary. But then offense happens because you never communicated it. Now you like, well, why they impede? But you hadn't told them.
Right.
So now the other person feels some type of way because you tripping, but they don't know why you tripping.
Yeah.
That's why it's two things there. It's being able to communicate, have the confidence to communicate. But you got to be able to share those boundaries in order to heal.
So boundaries definitely play a big time role.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Okay, if I know, especially within families, sometimes people don't know that they've caused trauma or pain because you never said anything. You know, we don't establish the boundaries, so we allow the person to impede those boundaries. But yet we in our room close the door and we're trying to figure out why they tripping. But you hadn't spoken up. They don't know you've been offended. So you got to have some open communication and be able to be confident that you can speak about those boundaries.
It's also kind of reminds me of those unspoken expectations that we put on people. It's like, bro, you hold them to a standard, to expectations you never told them about. Right. So which one of y'all is the crazy one? When you really think about it, like, bro, you really, like you said, you tripping.
Yeah.
And they don't even have no clue that you had childhood trauma.
Right.
And you haven't dealt with it. So they don't understand why you trip out when this happens or when that happens. You know, so boundaries. Okay. So boundaries do play a major role in helping families heal. Because I'm assuming if you break the boundary, it's going to kind of set that person back, maybe?
I'll say after the fact. So sometimes boundaries don't always exist in the same spot.
Okay.
Right? So it's only when something happens that a boundary should be in place. Okay. Boundaries can also move. Boundaries can deal with how much I trust you, right? And if I don't know you like that, then I got a boundary. But because me and you know each other, you know, it may be somebody I might throw the deuces up to, but me and you, we can embrace handshake, right? That boundary is different depending on the trust that we have. So when we're talking about in the family unit, I may not be able to talk to my father about certain things. We have a boundary.
True.
Right? But that don't mean that boundary has to stay the same. Somebody got to be vulnerable enough, and what I call extend the olive branch enough to let's communicate that we can fix this boundary.
That's good.
Because every boundary is not a good boundary.
Yeah.
That's just only as far as I can trust you.
I understand that because I've seen in my own family, with family, extended family, relatives, that when they're around one parent, their boundaries are like, boom, they can talk about whatever, they can truly be themselves. And then when around another parent, it's like, you just switched up on everybody. Like, oh, okay, I peeping game.
Yeah.
Because I remember my wife came around, she was like, he acts different when this person's in the room as compared to when that person's in the room, you know, or when they're around this part of the family as compared to that part of the family. It's like, okay, I see the dynamics here. Yeah. Y'all kick it laid back over here. Y'all vibing. Y'all have a good time over here. It's more, you know, sit up straight, you know, pronounce yourself, you educated. Right. Got to carry yourself in a different way. You can't talk about certain things, you know. So I've seen that in my own family dynamic. So yeah, that's definitely a big time thing.
Because boundaries are meant to protect us, right? You look at a football field, you got boundary lines, right? Even the line of scrimmage is a boundary.
Yes,
you can only go far so back, but then you can't go forward, right? So is learning how to build a relationship and develop relationships with people, but is trying to figure out, identify what penalty happened that got me where I am.
Gotcha.
Identify that part. Identify what caused me to put up a boundary in the first place. Now, sometimes boundaries didn't exist. It was only until something impeded or happened.
I need to put a boundary up.
Now I got to put a boundary up, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't know we needed a boundary until you maybe feel some type of way of what you did. Oh, now I got to put a boundary up. But it's communicating that, hey, this happened to me, and they didn't know, but this happened to me in childhood. I just want to communicate that to you that you don't do this again. I'm establishing a boundary.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good, bro. We moving right on along, man. All right, so can tough love, because we kind of talked about how love is, you said love is not one-sided. So you got the compassion part, and you also got the tough love portion of it. So it says, can tough love be both Christ-like and effective?
Absolutely. You know, the Bible says God chastens those he loves.
Come on.
And I'm going to tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you, chastening does not feel good. I will never forget. I'll share this story. One of the worst whoopings I got in my life. My mama told us to clean up the kitchen. and she worked nights at this time, but she got in early in the morning. I forgot to clean up the kitchen. One of the worst whoopings I got in my life. She woke us up out of our sleep and beat the brakes off us. They would call it child abuse today, but no. It was correction because 1, you have to listen to authority. 2, you have to be obedient. 3, you need to be clean. Those are principles that anybody could live. Those are values to have today. Now, I might not have wanted to clean it. I might have thought I could have do it later on my own time, but that was not good wisdom on my part. So correcting me or correcting that behavior hurt. Now we old school. So, we was the type to go get switches and go get belts, things of that nature. But guess what? I never had to have that issue again. So when we're talking about tough love, man, we got to understand it does hurt. But what does it actually hurt? It don't really hurt our body. It hurts our feelings.
Yes.
That's the part. It hurts our feelings. But at the same time, it's correcting me for the danger that could lie ahead. So tough love is definitely Christ-like because if I know I'm stealing all the time, if I'm stealing, then eventually, and let's say I got away with it, but there's going to be a day of reckoning.
Yes.
That I might not get away with it. And it ain't the fact of jail. It could be a potential consequence, but somebody might kill me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something has to interrupt that behavior or that journey. If not, detriment is going to happen. Destruction is going to happen.
On that. You spot on. I've had family members that were involved in stealing. Didn't end up well. After multiple warnings, grace finally ran out, and it's like, bro, we've been telling you.
Yeah.
So, but man, that's part of it. I know when it comes to tough love, I think fathers are the ones that kind of give more tough love to the kids than anybody. Especially when you're raising boys. And I know that at times when I'm giving tough love out, it actually hurts me.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not even physically hitting them or touching them. But the fact that, I got to strip this or I got to have this conversation with you, to get you back in line to tell you this and tell you that. Like, I don't want to be here talking to you about this. But if I don't, then I see the road that you're going to head down.
Absolutely.
I see the disrespect. I see your brand being tarnished.
Yeah.
And your brand is all you're going to really have. When people see you coming, either there's going to be a positive thought that come in their head or a negative thought that come in their head. And we want to make sure when you show up, it's something positive. But yeah, it's been times where it's like, oh, man, I'm going to have to do this.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'm like, no, because it's not really that deep. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna take this from you and don't do this again. Yeah. But it's like every now and then you can just feel it on yourself.
Yeah.
When you have to discipline your child through tough love. And like I said, it ain't even gotta be. I've never whooped my kids. And I got 2 boys and they all boy.
Yeah.
Everybody's child's different. Everybody's thoughts is different. And I make sure one thing my kids know is that I love them.
Absolutely.
So even when it comes to disciplinary time, they know it's still coming from the right place. Like, Daddy don't hate you.
There you go.
But Daddy hate this behavior. So let's get this right.
That's definitely the key right there, because you gotta have a balance with that. You have a lot of parents who they want to rule with an iron fist, right? That they do more yelling, fussing, and the disciplinarian type, but they less in the education part. And then it becomes more, do this because I told you to do this, but not do this because you don't, it's education.
Yes. Correction
is understanding and education. That's what it is. So I never forget, my youngest daughter was probably, I don't know, young, 3-4 years old. I cried. I had to spank my daughter. I had to. It just got to the point I had to spank her, and I probably cried more than she did because it hurt me so bad. And that's the only time I spanked her. I had to find different ways to correct and discipline my children. Now I'm raising daughters, so that was a whole nother ball game. I believe God gave me wisdom on, because I don't want my daughters to feel like every time they do something wrong, they got to receive a physical level of correction.
Right.
So I had to I'm not going to do that. Not to raise like that. So I had to establish, and I encourage all parents to understand this. Parent, you got to evolve, but
Mm-hmm.
what worked for somebody else may work for you. It may not work for you. It may work for you if you got multiple children. It may work for your oldest daughter, but it might not work for the youngest one.
That's true.
Parenting is about evolving and learning as you go. So there are a lot of tools and tactics to use. For me, I use something called I'm intentional specific when it comes to parenting. There may be days I have to be an authoritarian or authoritative. I may have to be gentle parent. I might have to exercise or utilize gentle parenting techniques. But I'm intentional specific at the behavior that they're exhibiting because that's what I want to modify.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you gotta just figure some stuff out. A lot of parents want the right formula, the right tool, the right thing to do that's gonna be perfect and work every time. I tell parents I wish I had it, I'd give it to you, but that's not the case.
Sometimes we do allow my kids to ask us questions, like why questions. Growing up, we couldn't ask no why questions.
Nah, we couldn't.
But now it's like, hey, I need for you to go do this. Or I need for you to do that. Okay, daddy. He'll be going to do it, be like, what? But why you got me doing it?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I was like, just go ahead and do it. And then when he come back, I explain.
Yeah.
Or I'd be like, dude, like this is what I need for you to do. Hurry up. And then sometimes like, man, just do what I said.
Yeah.
It just depends on what I'm asking.
Sure.
Because everything is not always a teaching point. Like, bro, we in the middle of something, we trying to get it done. Hey, just do what I said.
Yeah.
We can talk about this later.
For sure.
But my my oldest boy is like that. He gonna ask you why. My youngest boy just gonna do whatever if he remembers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they totally different. I coach them different. I discipline them different. I can be a little bit harder on one than the other.
Yeah.
This one right here, my oldest boy really don't give me no attitude or let me take that back. Neither one of them give me attitude, but attitude at school. My oldest boy, he cool. He friendly with everybody. My youngest, bruh, you can know him for 10 years. He'll walk right by you like he don't know who you is. You can literally be speaking to him. He'll look you in your eyes and walk by. And I have to, come here. Speak.
Yeah.
That's just him.
Yep,
He has that. So when they call us from school and they say, well, Austin, he told the teacher, she asked him, do you like me? And he said no. I said, well, he don't.
Yeah.
What's the problem? You know he don't like you. So why are you asking him that? And you know he ain't gonna lie about that. But hurt her feelings.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? You don't ask him, does he like you? He don't have to like you. He gotta respect you.
Yeah, there you go.
But he does not have to like you.
Right.
So if he's being disrespectful, then call me.
Yeah.
But if he just being himself and he don't like you and he going on about his business, don't call me.
Yeah.
You handle him. He ain't got to like you.
Yeah.
But that's him though. So, and I like so when you were saying that, I was like, yeah, you do have to raise them jokers different. You still have the same principles and morals and values, but when it comes to interacting with them, because my oldest boy, he may want to go outside and do some sporting activity.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest boy may want to sit on the couch and snuggle over his mama.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just depending on what's going on. Even they love languages are different. So that's pretty cool. You got anything else you want to say on that?
Oh, shout out to my middle daughter who's Miss Juneteenth of Alabama. Throw that out there. But I do my daddy talks. I remember several years ago, I was doing what I thought was one of my good daddy talks with all my girls, just sitting there at the kitchen table talking to them, and just wanted to really acknowledge some things and confront some stuff or whatever the case may be. So I got to her and I was like, you can be a little late. I wasn't harsh. I was making sure my tone was good and everything. I said, you can be a little lazy sometimes, and I start talking some more, and next thing you know, I look, she slumped down in a chair and started crying. And I'm like, what in the world have I just done?
Mm.
And I had to come back and really apologize, because, which is one thing I always encourage parents to do. We ain't always right.
Come on, bro.
It is okay to apologize. There's some stuff we need to go back and apologize to our kids for. We mad, got stuff going on, and we take it out on them.
Yep.
It ain't got nothing to do with them. So whoever listens to this, it's okay as parents. Go apologize to your kids. But anyway,
I agree.
But I had to go back and just really realize, what did I speak out of my mouth? What tone did I use? What did I say? Now, to me, I was doing good, but how did she hear it and interpret it?
Yeah.
And I think as parents, we got to really be careful of what we say, how we say. And again, I may need to approach her differently than my youngest one. Oh, I can say whatever and she gonna be good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to know they're all different. You just got to figure out what works best for them.
That's
Because
true.
we want to be impactful at the end of the day.
bro. And that's good. And that takes emotional maturity.
Oh, for sure.
That takes swallowing of pride, putting yourself to the side. And it's like I said, man, it's about the kids, bro. If I'm not gonna respect my kids and do what's best for them, nobody else really has
There
a
you
chance. If you are horrible as a parent, bruh, like I can't vibe with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if you just don't know, but you're trying, I get that.
Yeah, for sure.
But if there's no effort and you just treat your kids any kind of way,
Yeah.
like, nah,
I'm
I don't vibe with that.
Yeah, I'm hard on parents, man. My parents class, I'm hard on parents. You're not about to talk to kids any kind of way. You're not about to call them out their name. You're not about to tell them they less than. I don't play with that. I don't play with that. The Bible says that children are like arrows in the hand of a mighty warrior. Imagine that. Children are like arrows. And if you know anything about an arrow was a weapon that changed civilizations and how they do war. So it's equating children have the capacity, pointed in the right direction, to change civilizations. So, but it's based on the person who's aiming the arrow.
That's good, bro.
So that just shows, I'm putting this in my book too, though contributing. If we point our kids in the right direction, that means it's how I treat them, how I respect them, how I train them up. And a lot of that is learned behavior.
Yes, what you model.
What you model in front of them. And a lot of stuff have been modeled in front of them that we doing it unintentionally. And now we're trying to figure out, where did this come from?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be intentional.
You
when it
got
comes to that, bro.
intentional, specific parenting is what I like to use, because it's they're learning from somebody.
Yes, all the time.
But I want mine to be the dominant model.
Yes, yes, sir. I agree.
That's my goal.
We'll talk about those daddy talks or whatever. So we were in the school yesterday. Yeah. So, my kids in sports, whatever. We just got back from this big weekend, and I see some things we need to do in baseball, whatever. And one of them was just like, I'm gonna just start building their strength up. I was like, yeah, we're gonna start off just doing like 10 push-ups at night before y'all go to bed, before you get in the shower. Just 10 push-ups with the correct form, not no humping the ground. You know how they?
Yeah.
Like, no. Keep it straight. Arms, boom. Let's get it right. Okay, so we get in there. They playing around. I said, okay. The first night they did them. Second night they ended up playing around, goofing around, just being silly, right? So I just get up. I said, no, y'all don't want it. I said, I'm doing this for y'all, trying to get y'all to a certain level y'all say y'all want to do with the sports and stuff you got going on. I was like, we wasting time. Y'all just go to bed. Go get in the showers, go to bed. I'm not fooling with y'all. So I don't have to do this. You said you wanted to be able to hit home runs over the fence, come fall ball. There's some things we need to change. Go take a shower. I'm in there in the closet, get my stuff together for the next day. It's like, hey, daddy, I'm about to do my 10 push-ups. Okay, whatever. I'm about to do them right now. Okay. You gonna count them? I said, no, you don't need me to count them. You got to get to the point where you do the push-ups by yourself without me and hold yourself accountable. So he drops down, he do 10 push-ups. So we get in the car the next morning, having a daddy talk now. I was like, look, y'all said y'all want to do blah, 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 blah with these sports we got going on. I am not going to waste my time. This is my last time telling y'all about this. If we going to do this, then we going to do it. If not, if y'all don't want to be as good as you say you are, if you just want to be good and not take your talent to a next level, make these all-star teams, these special teams you only get invites from, then don't come to me saying it. Because when it's time to put the work in, there's a time when I need for y'all to be serious, and there's a time when y'all can be silly. This ain't the time to be silly. Because in the morning we do affirmations. Right. And all they got to do right now is repeat after me. But they ain't saying them right. They goofing off being silly. So that's when okay, daddy mode, let's go. And so I went down that whole spiel with them. And then we had pitching lessons that following night. And Austin, my youngest one, was being silly. I had to correct him. And then my oldest one looked at me. He said, this is what you was talking about in the ride to school this morning. I said, this is exactly it. Yeah. So trying to get them to understand, like, look, you got to want it for yourself. And then there are certain things, if you tell me you want it, then now it's on me to get you where you're trying to go. If you really want it, I'll come up with the plan. You know what I'm saying? We can tweak stuff. I got you in pitching lessons. I'm teaching you how to hit. They can hit.
Yeah.
There's certain things I got to tweak in their batting stance and they load and stuff. But other than that, they already hit the ball great.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you want to go to another level. Because when we went down to this tournament this weekend, man, this kid's hitting that ball 275, 280 in the air. Launching the balls. I'm talking like pow.
Wow.
And he came to me when he met some of his teammates. Now, they was a whole lot bigger than him. It's just some big boys out there that's 11, 12 years old, bro.
No
like
doubt.
one kid was like 5'7", 190 pounds, wearing a size 10. And when I tell you he caught two of them back to back in the game, bro, clack, ball just. And other kid, he was like, man, Aiden said he was over there doing warm-ups in the band cage. And one of the kids said, yeah, man, I hit nukes. And so Aiden just thought he was just talking, just bragging. Got in that about the third game of the tournament. Man, the bases was loaded. Man, he hit that ball so hard.
Wow.
He hit a nuke.
Yeah.
Came back the last game, hit another nuke.
Golly.
That kid ended up with the highest batting grade out of the whole tournament. But it was the confidence that he came with. Now, see, Aiden know he can hit the ball, but see, Aiden only hit home runs at practice. He's never hit one in the game.
Gotcha.
So he knows he can do it, but he doesn't believe he can do it when it comes in the game. But once he get that first one, that's going to unleash everything. So I got him on a plan. I was like, look, let's get some little push-ups and get your little core a little tighter, do some little core stuff. And I got to get you, you know what I'm saying, getting your load right, because he swings from right here. If you know baseball, he swings from here. So when his load is short, he's got to get it back here. And that's the difference. He line driving to the fence, hitting like that. So I was like, dude, you just got to, come on, get that stretch.
Yeah.
But
that's good because it's exposure. You're stretching him, but you have to expose him to the possibility.
Yeah. Yeah. So
just imagine the things that, again, we're exposing to our kids. You know, we want them, we see their potential.
Yeah.
Not just, baseball, there's other areas.
Right.
But we got to expose them to that. And sometimes that exposure does make them uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But then too, we have to gauge where they are developmentally.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? What's appropriate for them, what's stretching them. Because then you got the parents that's so bent on what they think their kids can be.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about this in church sometimes. If you know your kid uses, forgive me for this vernacular, if you know your kid flicked it, no non-athletic.
Come on.
But yet you putting them in a position to play sports and you're trying to beat it and ingrain it in them. You got to think about that thing. You really got to think about that.
That's true.
I knew, we got our kids in sports kind of early. But I knew basketball wasn't it.
Yeah.
So what kind of parent am I want to relive wishes in them and they don't even like it?
Yeah.
So sometimes we do got to take back, but the exposure is great. But expose them to a lot of things. Expose them to the arts. Expose them to other ways of doing things, and then some stuff it'll take root.
Yeah.
If they really, like I believe what they have, they gifted, it'll take root.
And that's the thing, bro. Me and my wife always told me we want the kids to be well-rounded. You're not just going to be athletes. Sure. Yeah. You ain't going to be dumb. You're going to get your grades. And my oldest boy, he does plays and sings in the choir and stuff at school. So he likes the brand. He going to try stuff.
Yeah.
My youngest boy kind of stays in his box. But my youngest boy is the one that's like cocky and the showboater when it comes to stuff. But he's really, really good.
I got you.
But he's still raw.
Yeah.
He's raw. Like you see him on the baseball field, he's like, man, that kid is a beast. And then you'll see him make a crazy play at third base. Like, man, can no other kid make that play? And then they hit a regular ground ball to him, and he'll throw them up over the first baseman head. You know what I'm saying? Like technique, like the fundamentals. Like he doesn't always do them.
Right.
But he is the one that's like, no, I ain't finna get up on no stage and do no play. Now he'll cheer his brother on.
Yeah.
But so they get exposed to different, and every kid needs to find out what that thing is, because God has gifted every kid and every person, period, in something. Because there are some kids, they be like, well, your kid is not the best athlete, but he's a genius.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or he can draw really good.
Right.
Or he can sing really good. Or he can play this instrument really good. You know what I'm saying? Or he's great at speaking. There's various things, but I do understand what you mean by that, because sometimes we put too much emphasis on sports.
Yeah.
All right, last question, man. We get up out of here.
All right.
It says, how do you point someone toward lasting change instead of dependency?
You got to want it. Of course, I trust God with everything. So I'll speak both as mainly as a believer. Is I'm not. Holy Spirit helps me do things that I would not normally be able to do. We're talking about addictions. When we're talking about parenting, whatever the case may be. If I want lasting change, I first got to trust God with it all. All right. Now, the second part of that is that we talked about it earlier, is if I want something to last, I don't trust myself. I don't. I got an accountability part that's going to help me keep myself in check. Because we all think we good in our own sight, right? We think we good. We think we can do this and the third. But it's only when we let somebody in into our vulnerabilities, then they know what we know. So I need people that I can contact. There's a story in the Bible. I love the 4 friends who helped the paralyzed man. He needed them. And they were invested in his life too. So we got to have people in our life. If we want something to last, we need a good, solid group of people. It ain't got to be a whole bunch. It ain't got to be an entourage.
Come on, bro. Come on.
You got a few people that not only enjoys your company, but relishes on the fact that you need them just as much as they need you.
That's good stuff.
You see, I'm not just interested in what you can do for me. I'm interested in you. You have value. And I think that's the difference is I believe the people that I'm connected with, they have value. They are a value to me, right? And I ain't saying I got to have something from them, but I know they can do great things in his world. Right. So the respect is mutual. So to have lasting effect, you got to have people that's going to hold you accountable to make sure you stay on the right path. We all need that. If I'm trying to stay relapse free, if I'm trying to not lapse or not try to go back into those same patterns, I need people that's going to believe in me when I don't believe in myself.
That's good.
So I need them to really help hold me accountable. Accountability is powerful. We don't talk about a lot of. So if I want lasting change, if I want to stay on top of my addiction, I can't do it by myself. Trust God with it all, but also look for an accountability partner that's going to help me along the way.
That's good stuff, bro.
That's what I believe.
Anything else you want to close out with before we get up out of here?
I do. Just a little plug.
Go ahead,
quick.
Plug it, bro.
So I'm dropping 2 books by September. One is called Levels of Sonship. That's a book for ministry, for those who serve other leaders. I just believe that God has people in place. You ain't got to be the pastor, but you can be the one to help the pastor, right? Everybody want to be the head guy, but what about the people who serve the head guy and be okay with that? The second book is Adult Contributing. That's when I was kind of talking about parenting. I really believe that when parents really understand their impact, then I believe their contributions can yield some investments in our young people that we ain't got to worry about them. I believe the impact we can make, the knowledge and experience that we have, if we do it and instill it in them, then they can be great. They could be great catalysts for change in this world. That I know. Look at my kids. I ain't even worried about how I'm gonna be when I'm old and can't move. They're gonna take care of me because I'm contributing into them what they need. So got a couple other books coming out in October too. We'll talk about that for another time.
Okay, but, man, you're doing a lot.
Yeah. I'm a servant, man, and I want to. If you ever look at a tombstone, you see a little dash in the middle. I want that little dash to be impactful. That when everybody look at that dash, they see what Pastor G has done in his life. Yeah. That dash is what matters, not the beginning of the end, but what he did in the middle. That's what's up. I want to go to grave empty.
Man, we have enjoyed you tonight, bro.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for
Is there anywhere they can reach out to you, man, if they need to contact you, social media?
Absolutely.
Contact?
I'm on Facebook for sure. Anything that you need to know about me or what I'm putting out, you can find me on Facebook. Jeremy Casey. That's Jeremy with a G.
Jeremy with a G. That's Pastor G. Jeremy Casey. Man, it's been a blessing to have you on the show tonight, bro.
So to be here.
We thank you. We'll probably get you back on. You know what I'm saying? We could talk some more because you got a lot of knowledge, man. I've enjoyed it tonight. I've learned some things tonight. And man, keep doing what you're doing, bro. Yes, and just stay humble, man.
Yes, absolutely.
We good to go. All right, we out. That's another episode of Elevated Chat Room. Elevate your mind, elevate your life. You guys be blessed.
Peace.